our cookies white. So I'm going to start with my carrot, and I'm going to take my white piping consistency icing, and I'm just going to go around the whole edge. And you'll notice when I'm doing this, I am not touching my tip to the cookie until I change direction. I'm just holding the bag up and I'm letting the icing just flow around the edge of the cookie. Now when I change directions, I'll usually stop and then start again. Now if you're new to this and you don't get right to the edge of your cookie, it's fine. So I've done my piping. Now I'm going to take my flood and I'm going around the edge first. I like working from the outside in. So I want to make sure to really fill all of my cookie with my icing. I do not want to have to work hard and spread all this icing out. Now I use a little bit thicker flood consistency. But it helps the cookie dry quicker, and I just like it. I don't have to worry about the icing falling over the side of the cookie. So I'm just going to take my scribe and I'm going to wiggle it around, making sure to get in the edges. Then I like to stab my cookie and then shake it, and that will get my icing completely flat. So there's my carrot. I need to sit him aside so he can dry. The next one I'm going to flood is my plaque cookie. So again, I'm just going to go around, and I'm not going to really touch the cookie. I'm just letting the icing fall where it wants to fall. If your icing breaks midstream, it means you have a little air hole in your bag, and just pick up where you left off. This is going to be covered by flood icing, so it will be fine. Now, I'm going to use my flooding consistency icing again. And it was starting to go out the end of my bag because I didn't have my bag tied very tight, so I had to push it down. So I'm going to just fill this in with my white flood. These plaque cookies are so handy. I mean, you can do anything with them. If you don't have a cookie cutter design that you need, you can use a plaque cookie. You can do initials on them. They're perfect for stenciling. They are really, really handy. I'm going to cut my tip of my bag just a little bit bigger. I use tipless bags. You can also use tip number 2 or even 3. 2 is probably a little bit better. I don't like washing tips, so I like using tipless bags. So I'm just filling this all in. Then again, I'm going to take my scribe and wiggle it around. I'm going to stab it. It's going to completely, after I stab it, I just touch that little hole and it goes down. Got a little green on there. Okay, there's cookie number 2. A lot of these cookies have a white base, and so what I'll do is I'll do this one day and then I'll put the other designs on top the next day. So if you already know how to do this part, you can just skip it and go on to the decorating. But a lot of people like the flooding. Plus it's kind of relaxing. So I'm just going around the edge. When I do curves, I like to bring the line all the way up, the end of my curve. I think it's just easier for me for some reason to do that than to stop right there and then go on. And I'm going to do this one. This one white. Just go from the outside in. That kind of prevents air bubbles too when you do that. Now, if you just put a little bit of icing and then you go back and you try and spread it out with a scribe or a toothpick or a knife, then it's going to take you a long time. And that's not the easy way to do it. The easy way to do it is to really fill it full and let the icing kind of spread out on its own. I used the scribe a minute ago, and I think I had a little bit of green icing and maybe a little fleck of black icing on there. Next, we're just doing the exact same thing to all the cookies. This is one of my favorite ones. This is the rainbow, and I think it's just so darn cute and easy. Oh, there's my kitty cat. She's outside. She's gonna scrape on the window. She wants to come in. She stays outside, but occasionally she'll come inside and get something to eat, get something to drink. So, hold on, kitty cat, and I'll let you in. So we're just going around. You don't have to, I like to flood my cookies white before I do a lot of my designs, but the fun thing about having these cookie cutters at your house is really you can do whatever you want. You don't have to do that. You don't have to do what I do. Just have fun. Spreading it out. We're going to keep going. This is my last one, I think, that I have to do completely white. This is my favorite cookie cutter right here. This one is so cute. Okay. Do you all have beads at home? I tell you, I have beads all over my house. I think they're so fun. That's what inspired this cookie design. Beads, beads, and more beads. And this is a good example. You wouldn't have to do this cookie white. You could just do the beads on top of it. but I like it white. Hold on. Okay. So, this is my last one that I'm gonna flood white. And we'll let them dry, and then I'll come back in a second and we will move on to the next phase. Now it's time to do our cute little bunny. This is a bunny that's holding an egg that's too big for him, so it's covering him up. I'm going to take my green piping consistency and I am going to just go around where you could tell the egg would be. It's along the sides. I'm doing the sides of the egg, and then I'm going to go to the bottom. Now this is a great, if you have kids, this is a great place to get the kids involved because they could decorate this cookie however they wanted. But I'm going to do green with white polka dots because I think that'd be cute. So I'm going to go around with my green. Once I use my piping, I'm using my flooding to just fill it in. I like a lot of icing on my cookies. So I'm filling it in, and then I'm going to go back with my scribe, and I'm just going to kind of even it out a little bit. And do my little shake trick. Now, I'm going to take my white. This is my white. Actually, I'm not going to do white. I'm going to do pink. Or do I want, no, I'm going to do white. I change my mind all the time. Do y'all do that? And I'm just going to do, I'm going to just drop some dots on here with my flooding consistency. And I'm doing this while my green icing is wet. That way, my dots will sink down in to the green. Now, if they don't want to sink in, all you have to do is just touch them with your scribe or your toothpick, and they'll sink right down in there. I use a icing that's a little bit thicker. You can always just shake your cookie, but they're still sticking up a little bit, so just touch your cookie, touch your dots, and they'll sink right down in there. Or make your flood a little bit thinner, but I like mine a little bit thicker. Plus, I don't think anybody's going to not eat this cookie because it has a teeny little dot sticking up. So, there's that. Now we're going to let this dry for a minute because we want to come back in and put in the ears and everything, but we want there to be a difference. You know, we don't want this to completely all go together. So while that's drying, I'm just going to put it aside. I'm going to do my cute little green bunny. I want this bunny to be a little bit mossy. So I'm just going to go along with my piping consistency, go around the edge. Then I'm going to flood it. And then in a little bit, I'm going to make it look like it has some texture with the icing. So I'm going to just move it around a little bit. Just get it into where I want it. Okay, he's done for right now. Now you can just leave it like this, which is really cute, but we're gonna add a little bit to it after it dries. So let's move this aside, and next we can work on our little egg. Let me get a little bit closer. These are the mini cookies, and mini cookies are just fun. And kids love them, and these would be great in Easter baskets. So, I'm just gonna use my piping consistency. Fill in my whole egg. Use my flooding consistency. Flood the whole thing. Let this dry. There's a lot of dry time when you're cookie decorating. That's one reason it takes so long. So let's see. Now let's get back over to this one. I had to think for a minute. What were we doing? What were we doing? So now I'm gonna do the little bunny ears, and I could do white, but I think I'm gonna do pink because I just think that would be so cute. So we are gonna make the bunny ears. And notice I didn't go all the way to the edge of that cookie, but that's completely fine. And I'm going to, let's see if I want to do a little bit of white. No, I'm just going to do pink. I'm going to do the flooding on the inside. I'm going to do my other ear. Wouldn't you love to see a pink bunny running through your yard? I mean, wouldn't that just be the cutest thing ever? Then I can do his feet or her feet. Maybe she's a girl since she's pink. The boys can be pink too. My boys like to wear pink. So here, but I'm going to call her a her just so I can talk about her. Here are her cute little feet. Just filling that in with my piping icing. Now, isn't that adorable? But what I'm gonna have to do in a minute, well, I think I probably can do it now. It's dry enough. I want to put the little hands so it looks like my bunny is holding onto the egg. Or I guess I should say paws, right? Bunnies have paws. Okay, that one's a little bit smaller than the other one, so I'll make it a little bit bigger. And since it's kind of small, I'm gonna do my little trick of putting down a little bit of icing so that it doesn't make a crater. Then I'm gonna go over top of it with my flood. Then I'm gonna kind of wiggle it around. And this cookie is just about finished. That cookie's done. Isn't that cute? So we will get started in a minute on the rest of our cookies. Okay, we're back. Now we have done our cute little bunny, our cute little bunny holding the egg. Now in the picture I did him in taupe, but I just thought it would be cuter in pink. So now we are gonna do the carrot. Okay, so remember earlier we flooded him white, and he's been drying probably about 15 minutes. So we are good to go with him. You'll notice that the carrot has two different colors. So I did two different colors of the orange. I used pumpkin orange from Ann Clark, and you can see here I just did two variations, one a little bit lighter, one a little bit darker. That'll give our carrot a little bit more pizzazz. So I'm gonna do the whole thing in light, the whole carrot edge, the edge of the carrot. So I'm just gonna go up here. I'm gonna go a little bit taller, you know, into where the greenery would be. And I'm just going around the edge. And then I'm gonna go and I'm just gonna fill in some along the edge. Just like a little strip going down. Okay, now while this is still good and wet, I'm gonna add the dark. Okay. This will just give our carrot a little bit more dimension than using just one color. Then I'm going to take my scribe. I'm going to wiggle that side. I'm going to clean my scribe off. Then I'm going to go to this side. It had already started to dry a little bit, so I'm just going and I'm just kind of touching those little peaks. So there's my cute carrot. Not adorable? Then I'm gonna set this aside for a minute, and let's see, what are we going to do next? We are going to do the egg. So see you in just a second. Next up, we are gonna splatter our egg cookie. Excuse me. So I have Regatta Bay Elite Color from the Sugar Art. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take a plastic container that you can get at the dollar store. And I'm gonna put just a teeny tiny little bit of this color into the well. Because it doesn't need to be very dark. And then I have some Everclear in a bottle right here. And I'm just gonna put some Everclear in that. Just a couple drops. Then I have a really inexpensive paintbrush. I'm gonna mix that around. Then all I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna tap it. And I'm gonna have the drops come down. You can also flick it like this. So we'll do both and you all can see which one you like better. I think I like the flicks. Now maybe I got a little too much there, but you know, it totally doesn't matter. I say that a lot. That it's just a cookie, but it is. But I like things kind of bright and fun. So we're gonna do that there, and next we're gonna do our flowers. So you all can see the flower design that we're gonna do on the egg cookie. We're gonna do that next. So let's move this one aside. We can get this off of here. Ooh, I splattered my bunny too, but that's okay. Y'all want to see my splattered bunny? He dipped his hand in the paint can. But that's okay. We're just gonna leave that there. Now, here he is. Here's this one. I'm going to do my blob flowers. So what a blob flower is it's where you literally draw a little blob with your icing. And I'm gonna make this blob have some little petal designs. Then I'm gonna fill it in. I do that with my piping icing, and next I do this with my flooding icing. Just making a little blob. And then I'm gonna make this blob into a flower after that crusts over. So there's one. Then we're gonna have another one down here. This one's gonna be bigger. And the main thing is you don't want these blobs to run into each other. I need this one to be a little bit more rounded, so I'm gonna round that out a little bit. Again, I'm gonna fill it in. There's blob number 2. Maybe make it a little bit bigger. I think I'm gonna make it a little bit bigger. Okay. Blob number 2, and then we need blob number 3. But before we do blob number 3, we are going to do the pretty, see the greenery design that's right there? We're gonna do that next. So what I first do is I get my piping consistency icing, and I'm just gonna make a line that goes up the side. Then I'm gonna make my leaves. So there's one, and a leaf goes in each of these little bump outs right here. And they get a little bit bigger as I go down my cookie. Then I'm gonna do, see, I've done one side, so now I'm gonna do the other side. Now I'm not gonna put a leaf there because that is where I'm gonna put another flower. Since these are kind of small icing areas, I'm gonna fill them with my piping consistency icing. And then I'm just gonna fill them with my flood. And they'll be nice and puffy. I'm going to kind of pull this to the end to get rid of those little peaks down there. And keep going. Now, isn't that a pretty cookie? I'm gonna set this aside because I don't know that, well, I can probably go ahead and do the blob. I was gonna say, I don't know that I wanna do the blob yet because it's not dry. But the blob's just gonna be over top of the stem, and it's piping consistency, so it is pretty much dry. I'm just gonna make this one have 3. I love this cookie. This is my favorite. I love those blue splatters. I just think it's so pretty. They're brighter than what would be on a normal robin's egg. But you know, it's a cookie. I say that. That's my mantra. It's a cookie. So I'm going to put this one aside because we need to let that dry a little bit. And I'm going to do my little baby. And my baby, you'll see, do you see how it just has the same design as what was on the other one? The same leaf. You could do a little flower, but I just wanted to leave this one a little bit more simple. So we're going to take our, again, our piping icing. And we're just going to make our, do the exact same thing that we did before. When I do mini cookies, I like, you know, just repeating my, sort of repeating my design. It just makes things easier on you, and it's so cute, I think, to have a miniaturized version of the bigger cookie. So now I'm going to just fill it with the flooding. Okay, then I'm going to use my scribe to just kind of round it out and fill in, you know, along the edge. I'm going to push those little ends down that sometimes like to stick up. Now that cookie's done. Look how cute that is. I got to get in here real close. Isn't that cute? That was an easy little cookie to do too. So we're going to put that aside. And then next we are going to start working on our bead cookie. Okay, so for our bead cookie, what we want to do first is we are going to take our taupe color and we are going to make, well, let me show you the picture first. See our bead cookie? Now, this one might not look exactly like that because this can sort of be fluid. You can do whatever colors that you like. But we're going to start first, excuse me, with the fringy thing on the end, the brown, because we want to make sure that we have enough room for that. So we are going to come, this is where the little circle, the top of the little fringy thing is. This is thick icing. Let me get a little bit closer. Okay, and we're gonna do the little it's sort of like a little bell shape. And then all I'm doing is I'm just bringing my piping icing and I am making lines. I'm making the lines of my tassel. That was the word I couldn't think of a minute ago, tassel. You want to make the bottom ones and then you want to do some on top. And because this is a thicker consistency icing, it is not all just blobbing together. If it's too thin, you're just going to have a brown blob. Okay, and then I can go back over top and make sure that the top of my tassel is, you know, is tall enough. So there's my tassel. See how easy that was? Next, I'm going to make my egg. So I'm going to make this egg sort of to mimic the egg that I made on my egg holding bunny. So I'm just going to make an egg shape right here. And it kind of follows the contour of the cookie cutter. going to fill it in. Make it good and full. Then I'm going to take my white. Actually, I think I might do, yeah, I'm going to do pink this time. I'm going to take my pink flood consistency and I'm going to do some little polka dots. And all I'm doing is just barely touching the icing. So there's my polka dots. And next I am going to start with my circles or my balls. And what I want to do is I don't want to do them right next to each other. I want to leave a little bit of space. Otherwise, they're just going to meld into each other. So I'm going to start with the orange and I'm just going around the cookie and I'm leaving space in between that I can add some other balls. Okay. So there's my orange. Then I'm going to set that aside and I'm going to let my orange crust over before I do another color so that my balls stay looking like balls. So now we can go back to our floral egg cookie and we can work, because it's dry enough, we can work on making the design for the top of our flowers. So let me get a little bit closer. Now this design is just a C. So all you're doing is you're starting in the center and you make a C. Then you start in the center of that C and you make a C going in the opposite direction. So I'll do it again in this one. You make a C, then you make another C going in the opposite direction. The same with this one. C, another C going in the opposite direction. And then you just kind of go around with C's around the outside. There's no way to mess this cookie up. You're just doing C's or smiley faces. You can attach. See how that one's long and it goes, it doesn't just go over this little hump, but it goes over this little hump. You can do that. This is a really organic flower. So that one's done. Then I'm going to go to this one. Do the exact same thing. You don't have to have any piping skills, like floral piping skills, to be able to do this one. So that cookie is completely done. Isn't that one pretty? Completely done. I got a little piece of cookie or a piece of icing on that one. So we're done with that cookie. Next, we're going to go back to our carrot. So let me get the carrot, bring it up here. And our carrot, we're just going to do the same sort of design that I did with the greenery. We're just going to do that as the top of the carrot. So I'm going to take my piping and I'm going to do just big sweeping leaves, just like I did a minute ago on my egg cookies. And I'm following the shape of the cookie cutter. Then I'm going to take my flood consistency icing and I'm going to fill that in. pull it down to the end. Kind of like to cover the edge where I put the piping. I do that with my scribe. You see how poofy that is? That's because my flood's just a little bit thicker than what some people use. Okay, my carrot cookie is all finished. I might put some little lines on there at the end, but I can move that one aside. So I have 2 of my cookies finished. Actually 3 because I have a little bitty one. Now, my orange dots have crusted over. So next I can use another color. So we'll use pink. And they're not going to just bleed together. So we'll do just a little pink dot beside the orange. And it doesn't really matter where you put the dots. You just want to put them beside the orange. Because like I said, this is sort of an organic shape that we're going for. Let's see, I forgot this one. And our beads will fit together at the end. So we've done with that one. Let's see, what can we do next? Next, we will do the little, actually, I think that's all for this one. We will come back in a minute because I need to let the cookies dry just a little bit longer. Okay, we're back. Next, we are going to make our little mini rainbow and add more beads to our bead cookie. So here's our little mini rainbow. And rainbows these days don't have to have all the colors of the rainbow, right? So we're just doing this however we feel like. So I'm going to do it in orange first. So I'm going to take my piping consistency and I'm going to go around the edge in the orange. Now this is a small cookie, so it's only going to have 3 colors. So there's orange, then I'm going to do pink next. And then my last color is going to be blue, which we haven't used yet. So let me open up my blue. I'm just going to fill them in. Now, I find the easiest way to do these, you know, striped kind of cookies is to do the outside and the inside first and then do the center. So there's my blue. Next, I'm going to do my orange. Here's my orange. Then I'm going to do my pink on the inside. And I'm just squeezing it to fill up the space. Then once this dries just a little bit, I'll go over and I'll do the cloud. But I need to let it dry just a teeny tiny little bit. But isn't that a cute little rainbow? So I'm going to bring my bead cookie back over because my pink has dried, and I'm going to make some blue dots. Just kind of connecting them. I'm going to make this last one a little bit bigger. That way it'll connect right to the green. Now, is that the cutest cookie? And that one is finished. So far we have our beads, we have our carrot, and we have our egg. So let me pull out so you all can see all those. Beads, carrot, and egg cookie are the big cookies that are complete. Oh, I'm sorry, and my little bunny. The little bunny that I got blue on. So isn't that just a cute little set? I think I probably could go ahead and do the white on this one because the white's pretty thick. So I'm gonna take my white piping and I'm just gonna go around the edge just to look like a cloud. That cookie is done. So here's my little mini cookies. There's my mini cookies. But I'm gonna add some texture to this one a little bit that's gonna make it look sort of like it's fuzzy or mossy. So we have to let the rest of our cookies dry, and then we'll come back and we'll finish out our set. Okay, next we are going to use our flooded cookie that we've let dry. I usually let it dry overnight because we're going to put a little bit of pressure on it, so you want to make sure that it's good and dry. And I'm going to put my little bunny stencil right on top, right in the middle. And then I have some brown icing. This is a little bit darker than I was planning on using, but I want to make sure that you can see it okay. And I'm just gonna put it over top of my bunny, just squirt it all over. And then next, I'm going to take an offset spatula. There's all kinds of little cookie gadgets that you can get, but I figure most of y'all have an offset spatula. If you don't have that, you can use a knife. But I think an offset spatula makes it the easiest. And you're just spreading over top. You wanna make sure that it's kind of even over where your bunny is, and then all you do is you lift up on the stencil, and look how cute your bunny is. Isn't that adorable? Now you could leave it like that, or you could add sanding sugar to it, but I think that is just the cutest little design. So he's done. And next I'm going to use my Easter stencil. So I'm just going to take my cookie. I'm going to put my Easter stencil right near the bottom. This time I'm going to use green. And this icing is just a little bit thicker, so you can see kind of what the difference is in the way that it looks. So I'm just going to plop this on the top, just over all of my letters. And then again, I'm going to take my offset spatula, and I'm going to hold on to the edge of my stencil so it doesn't move. And I'm just going to spread it across the top. Making sure that I get in all those letters. Now I moved it a little bit. So see, even when you have tons and tons of decorating experience like I do, you mess up, but that's okay. I'm gonna put just a little bit more, try and get that back where I got it. Just spread it. Then I'm gonna lift it up. And there you go. Now it's not perfect because I shifted it, so let me show you how you can fix that. All you have to do is get something with a point. So I have this little pointy tool here. I think that this is something that you actually use for knitting. And I'm just gonna wipe away the parts that got maybe a little bit too much icing. You can always fix cookies. So my Easter saying is done. And next I will go ahead and I will get my icing and I will put on my rainbow. So here I go with my rainbow. You can use all colors for your rainbow. You can use 2 colors. You can use 3 colors. You can use whatever you want to use. But I am just going to use 1 color because I want you all to see how you can make a super cute cookie without having to use a ton of colors. So this is the yellow. And I'm just, I've made my line along the side like I did on the other cookies, and I'm just filling it in. Like that. Then I want some white to show through. And so I'm gonna skip a little area, and I'm gonna use my yellow again. And I'm just gonna repeat exactly what I did before. I love rainbows that aren't traditional rainbows. That's the thing nowadays. You can use whatever color you want, whatever color combination, and it's just so pretty. And I just thought that this would be fun. A lot of times people think, oh, I gotta have 15 different colors to make cookies. And you truly don't, because look, for this one, we've used 2 colors. We've used 1 for the green, 1 for the yellow. And that's it. And our rainbow is complete. So I want to show you again the difference. Here is the green icing that we did. It was a little bit thick, and then here was more the runny icing. It's easier to do with the runny icing, but I just wanted to kind of let you all see the difference. I also wanted to show you all what it would look like if you did a lot of different colors. So with this one, I used the gray and I did the Easter. And then I used the same colors that we had done in the set to make the rainbow. So it's totally different looks, but they're both a lot of fun.